Cormac, Paul, thank you very much for agreeing to this. Just going to run through a few questions because this is a big year for the answer.
Yeah.
This is 2016, the next step and next level.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the likes of the Rise album, 10th anniversary, and the new album. So where are we now in spring in terms of progress?
We're working long days and nights in this very studio trying to put together our 6th record. We're about 3/4 of the way through, tentatively, and it's sounding great. You know, it's a good position to be in. We're on the eve of reissuing a record from 10 years ago, whilst working very hard to close one door and open another with this new record. It'll be out in October, so lots happening.
Yeah. When you played your first big festival, Tennis Final, opening up for the Darkness, at that stage, did you ever think that in 2016 you'd be still pounding it out?
I think it was always the intention to have a career. If you'd asked us on that day and we came off stage, the Tennis Vital, if we'd what we'd be doing in 2016, I'm not sure we'd be able to tell you. We were just, I think, we were on the cusp of getting our first deal then, so we were just thinking of the first record and getting out there and touring. So that was kind of, I think, as far as my ambition was just to get that first record out there. So it's amazing we're still going now 10 years later, or even more.
Okay. Also, when you issued Rise, did you ever see yourself coming back to your roots and origins?
I suppose it's not something you tend to think about until you're a decade into your career. You know, as Paul says, back in those days, you're not thinking too far ahead. You just want to make sure that you keep kind of climbing that ladder, and that's still the way we live our lives. You know, you always set yourselves kind of targets in the not too distant future, just to make sure to keep the momentum going. But now we're here, and we're looking back at 5 records and 10 years of touring around the world. You know, it's a good place to be. I think it would be a very different place if we didn't have, like I say, a full collection of brand new music coming our way, and the fact that we're still very much in the middle of this, the answer, and everything we do as a band. It's just a nice way to kind of sum up what we've been doing with our lives for the last 10 years.
In that period, obviously of the previous 5 albums, you worked with a range of producers and a range of locations. Each step was obviously a learning for the band, but what sort of has been the key points in that learning process, in particular producers or particular tours that saw that take that a wee bit further?
I think, early in our career, 2nd record, getting Everyday Demons done, and obviously getting on the AC/DC Black Ice tour was kind of the peak of the early part of our career. I think certainly around that time, when we did Rise, we were very, we're quite naive and quite young still, and we're just happy to be making a record. And then all of a sudden, I think there was quite a lot of interest in the band, and we were much more savvy ourselves as writers and performers, and it all kind of came together quite well, making that record in LA, and then we kind of jumped on that tour in October, and it took us, all over America, all over the world, and really raised the profile of the band from, a sort of new band in sort of Belfast and London kind of thing. And it was definitely, I think, the first sort of half of our career was the big moment.
Almost 120 dates. How grueling was it really?
That was awful. 120 dates of the biggest rock and roll band in the world. It was a great chapter in our lives. Learned a lot about how to work a big audience, and I think it brushed off on our songwriting as well. Those guys, they make it sound easy, but they know how to write a hit record as well. But yeah, it's just another page in the book. Maybe a few pages, But we had a lot of fun for that. I think it was about a year and a half for it. It was great.
Keep the stories from our interview. In terms of, you know, is there a stark difference in the album from previous material, or do you see it more as an evolutionary step?
It's definitely, it's definitely an evolution. I think, but in saying that, I think there's some contrasts more than on previous records. I think people will definitely hear a jump in certain sort of stylistic sense that's a bit, I think, maybe greater than previous records, which I always think was, was a little bit, you could hear certain new influences coming in each time, and I think this time we really haven't, been afraid to embrace any type of music or any style that we want to express, and it's starting out very acoustic and going from there, which I think is another new thing for us. There's always been elements of that on previous records, and I think they always get we did the acoustic sort of slot on the last tour, got great reception, so we've built on that a lot on this record.
And as you move into each new chapter, what challenges do you face as musicians in trying to capture what you've done in pre-production and in writing? What issues do you find personally when you get into the studio?
Apart from paying the bills. It's just whenever you get past the debut record, which any band will tell you is a collection of songs that span, all their early years, from the creation of the band. So you've got a big old stockpile of songs to choose from. From then on, every record's a blank page, and you have to start from scratch. And you really have to you literally have to create something out of nothing. And if you're gonna be a full-time musician, full-time songwriter, you have to make sure that the songs you're writing and put out there are born out of genuine passion and genuine experience. And I think the challenge is being able to latch on to that inspiration whenever it's there for the taking, and threading that into your music and keeping things fresh. First and foremost for the band, we care a lot about our fan base and do our best to keep all those good people happy. But when it comes to writing records, it starts in this room, the four guys in the room, and we all have to be passionate about it and interested to keep doing what we do, because again, I'm sure a lot of musicians talk about the rigorous lifestyle on the road, living on a bus a lot of the time, and you're in a different city every day, and it's on the face of it, it is a lot of fun, and most of the time it's great, but you have to really want to be there. You need to really want to be a full-time touring musician, and it all starts in this room with your songs.
And you've got a sort of mini tour coming up, and you're playing back home in Belfast.
Yeah.
In June. Can we expect one or two new songs to be debuted?
There's a good chance. It's first and foremost we have to do Rise.
Yeah.
So we're going to commemorate that record from start to finish, which we did in Belfast once before, a couple of years ago. So it'll be interesting to see that night after night in the UK and finish it off in Belfast. And Belfast will definitely get a couple of new ones debuted to see what you guys think, see how it goes down.
Excellent.